Well, as Chris just mentioned, Australia has a new employment services program now, Job Services Australia. Andrew Southcott is the opposition's employment participation spokesman, and he joins us now from the ABC's Adelaide newsroom. Andrew Southcott, good morning. You've been a critic of this system from the beginning. What do you say is going to happen now?
Well, what will happen, Virginia, is certainly for the next 6 months, there will be a lost period where this system is not fully up and running. That seems to be conceded by providers, by the peak groups, and certainly I think the government has really underestimated the challenges here of firstly tendering out 100% of business, moving to a totally new model which was designed for a period of full employment, and then on top of that not really awarding the contracts on the basis of past performance. So I think we will see a lot of teething problems over the next 6 months for the unemployed and jobless.
It follows logically that there'd be teething problems with any new system that's put in place, and any government of any political stripe has found that over the years. So putting that to one side, in a more substantial way, do you say that if we see a rise in unemployment, say, over the next 12 to 18 months, that that is directly related to the implementation and the construction of the Job Services Network?
It certainly will be. The Rudd government have really blamed the global financial crisis on the rising unemployment on global financial crisis. But what we will see from today is any extra job lost or any increase in unemployed will be due to decisions that they have made. And a lot of these decisions were unnecessary. We will see today almost 1 in 2 job seekers will be changing their caseworkers, changing their providers without their files following them, losing that relationship that they had with their caseworker. And this degree of churn was completely unnecessary. The Job Network was a successful system. It reduced unemployment. It was it helped to put people into jobs. And it was actually a mature system. It had been going for 11 years, and we had made improvements over the period, but really bettered it down. And the government naively, I think, went for a big bang change in employment services, and a large degree of those changes were unnecessary, and they're not ready for the times.
Care to quantify then what unemployment will be under the new job services regime?
No, I won't make any forecasts.
Well, you just did. You just said that unemployment will rise, and it will be directly as a result of this new system. So you're going to have to put a figure on it for me.
No, I can't put a figure on it. What I will say is unemployment will be higher than it otherwise would have been, because we will have an employment services system which will not be operating at full capacity for 6 months. And the role of employment services is to make sure you reduce frictional unemployment at a time when unemployment is actually rising. You want to put jobless people in contact with the jobs. We know that it will not be working at full capacity for 6 months. That is a wasted 6 months at a time when we are forecasting that there will be almost 1 million Australians out of work within the next 2 years.
Now, this is slightly out of your bailiwick, but I would like to get your response this morning on news that we're hearing about unions, the AMWU in particular, about to launch a 4% pay increase push across about 1,300 agreements, apparently, this on the first day of the new industrial relations regime in Australia. What's your response?
Well, it didn't take very long, but the important thing has to be the protection of jobs and the creation of jobs, and it needs to be related to the capacities of businesses to pay. And so my response to that would be essentially it is very important that we never lose sight of the fact that we need to create the most positive environment in which jobs can be created and in which jobs are not lost. And sadly, historically in Australia, the union movement have not kept sight of this, of creating a positive environment to create jobs.
Andrew Southcott, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Virginia.
And we do need to point out that we did invite members of the government on the program this morning to speak about at least the beginning of the new industrial relations landscape and regime, and no one was available for us this morning.
Well, maybe tomorrow.